Welcome to Armchair Experts on Expert. I'm Dax Shepard. I'm joined by Maximus Mouse.
Hello.
How are you doing, Maximus?
I'm feeling Maximus today.
Oh, good. I like you when you're Maximum.
It's Saturday. Even though days are nothing, it's still the weekend, so we're still going to celebrate.
We have a really interesting gentleman today by the name of Andrew Marantz. He is an American author and journalist. He wrote the 2019 book, Antisocial: Online Extremists, Techno-Utopians, and the Hijacking of the American Conversation. He went undercover to find out who's writing all these crazy messages on the internet.
Yeah, he's really interesting. He gets to know people that we kind of, I think, in society deem as like...
Trolls. We'll write them off as trolls, generally.
Yeah.
And then there's varying levels of that where they're now involved in semi-terrorist plots. And, yeah, it gets dark in a hurry.
Sure does.
So please enjoy Andrew Marantz. We get support from Quince.
So we've been talking about Quince a lot lately, and as we head into fall, it's the perfect time to reset your wardrobe with their amazing pieces. I think it's so fun to do when the seasons turn over to just spruce up your wardrobe with a couple specials, and Quince is the place.
Totally. We're talking organic cotton, Mongolian cashmere, tailored chinos from just $60. Premium fit and quality you'd expect from a luxury brand designer. I love Quince. You know, I like it understated and subtle, and I like stuff that has high quality. And Quince checks all those boxes.
I love a lot of stuff from Quince. Honestly, they have incredible premium denim, which is very important for fall. It's pretty much all I wear in the fall is denim. And Quince has such a good selection of quality denim. Their stuff is so versatile, timeless, and built to last that you just grab every single day without thinking.
Right. And all of that for 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They go direct to ethical factories, cut out the middlemen, so you get all that quality without overpaying for it.
We love that. And they do way more than clothes. They have bedding, cookware, bath essentials, travel must-haves, same deal, and great quality.
Upgrade your everyday. Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/Dax. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/Dax.
We get support from Skims. Oh man, do I love Skims. I've been living in the Skims lightweight cotton collection all summer, and I have to tell you, getting dressed has become so easy. I just throw it on. It just feels right immediately, whether I'm grabbing coffee or I'm on the couch all day or I'm out, even going to dinner. The cotton is so lightweight and breathable, which in this heat is a non-negotiable. The cotton jersey t-shirt, I just need everyone to know about this one. This one hugs in all the right places. It's very soft and it still looks and fits the same after months of washing, which is very hard to do, I feel, with t-shirts. I've been wearing the black cotton jersey t-shirt with basically everything all summer long. It goes great with any patterned skirt or shorts or pants. I mean, anything truly. I believe that's probably my favorite piece from the cotton collection, but they also have great lightweight cotton thongs that are so comfortable and they're cute. That is a very, very hard mix to achieve, especially with undergarments. I feel if you can find some that are cute, but also comfortable and do the job, that is a win. And Skims has really, really figured that out with the lightweight cotton collection. Shop Skims Cotton and all of my favorite pieces at skims.com. After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select Armchair Expert in the drop-down menu that follows.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
No, I know her from the New Yorker Festival. They do these live interviews once a year as part of just like an event. So I interviewed her for that.
On stage?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
It was fun. It's a weird form because it's very, very different from the form you would do for a magazine interview.
Right.
When I'm doing print interviews, I'm not at all worried about how it sounds in the moment.
Of course. Right.
Oh, I'm literally the only person who will ever hear it.
Yeah.
So I'm very used to doing interviews in a way that's really like repetitive, asking the same question 6 different times, circling back to things. And then the live interview format is completely different. Especially, I'm also used to doing like adversarial interviews, which obviously
Right.
a live interview, you don't do adversarial.
It's very
interviews.
uncomfortable for people.
Totally.
Their
Yeah.
mirror neurons start firing and they
Yes.
they don't enjoy it.
Laughs uncomfortably. But like when I'm doing it for magazines, I'm like, I could be there for days, hours, weeks.
Yeah.
So you get your little digs in there over time.
Yes.
It's just a whole different form.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, how often do you go in with an approach, or have you ever tried to go an approach where it's like, I'm not going to go at that thing and then ended up getting it?
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's all person to person.
Right.
It's all just, it's like any other relationship, except in other relationships, you're hopefully not being as weird and duplicitous as you are in a journalistic relationship.
Yeah.
What is Joan Didion said, writers are always selling someone out. And that's a cynical take, but it's also true. It's like,
right.
Look, there's obviously good sides to what journalists do and unearthing truths that the world needs to hear. And
there are pieces that are just profiles that are celebrating some aspect, right? That
totally.
you would like.
Totally, all the time. And like,
Yeah.
there are times where, like, for instance, I did a profile of Leslie Jones right after she got on SNL. And her publicist was really nervous and was like, please, like, she's such a nice person. Like, please don't do a hit piece on her. And I was like, imagine the universe where I go in and like want to slam this woman who's having like the time of her life, this well-earned thing. And I'm just like, I'm going to take her down. Like, that's not,
Sure.
that is just not what I'm here to do. But
depending on your ambition level, the stage of your career, if you're trying to break out and make a name for yourself, that you can see where that's on the table for some people.
oh, and there are always ways in that piece, there were 2 or 3 times when I was like, I could
Yeah.
do
Explore
some damage
this.
here.
Yes.
It like
Yeah.
falls into your lap and you're like, it's not what I want to do. It's not worth it. That's why, journalism is a very like high trust endeavor, because there are built-in checks and incentives. And there's obviously, with the New Yorker particularly, there is this extensive fact-checking process that happens not only with investigative pieces where there might be lawsuits, but with every piece. You're essentially, the piece is being re-reported.
Yeah.
And everybody always has a chance to weigh in. So there's that. But ultimately, I kind of do have to say to people, like, you kind of just have to trust me that I'm not going to, that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, so I increasingly don't do print interviews. It has to pass through your filter. It has to pass through my filter. That's just how we are, right? It's just going to go in your ear and come out your fingertips. And so that process scares me, because so much of what I say is informed by how lighthearted I'm saying it, my delivery, all these different things that get lost in print. I've agreed to do them for the podcast because I care a lot about the podcast and I care a lot about Monica, and I like for us to be able to do that together. But we had New York Times, we did a piece on us, and it was so lovely while we were here. And then over the next 3 days, I convinced myself, oh my God, this is going to be a hatchet thing. Like, she was posing as someone who actually likes the show, but then we got into other issues that are sticky. And I'm like, if she wants to hone in on those things, it's all right there. And I said it all.
Her name is Eliza Brooke.
Eliza
She was
Brooke.
lovely.
She was incredibly
She was.
lovely.
And I was like, that was great. When after she left, I was like, I think that was fun and great. And he was like, I don't know.
There always are ways. There
But
always are ways.
Can I say, though,
But then it was very
it was a
positive.
beautiful, kind, lovely, nice, fair
Yes.
thing. And I was like, oh, I just completely spun out about it because I'm just so nervous.
Maybe I should just be like taking the journalist's side in this. And ultimately, she did right by you.
Right.
But I don't blame people who are worried. I really don't.
Right.
Whenever somebody doesn't want to talk to me, sometimes it's for dumb reasons. I hang out in a lot of spaces where people are like, you're fucking fake news and all this stuff, where I'm like, that's a bad version of that argument.
Yes.
But I
yes.
still get where the sentiment comes from, because you're always taking a risk. It's always a cost benefit. But when I remember when I was doing that piece, first of all, I had to spend a long time trying to talk my way into just being around to be a fly on the wall with anything involving SNL, because one time Lauren got burned by someone who came in and said, I want to hang out. I want to see what you guys are doing. And the cover ended up, not of the New Yorker, the cover of New York Magazine ended up being Saturday Night Dead. And it was like, this show fucking sucks.
Oh.
They let him into the writer's room. And whenever you're in a writer's room, people are going to be throwing out jokes that don't land and you can make them look bad. So
Yeah.
that happened in 1995, I think. And since then, Lauren was just like, not
Nope.
doing this anymore.
Nope.
And
Not
so,
happening.
And so then, exactly. So then I had to essentially like work for months to just sneak around. And again, this is not like me trying to like bust some big scandal or some embezzlement scheme. It's just me trying to get the scenic material I need to do a piece that I think is worthy of, that I think is good.
Yes.
And that I think shows in real narrative time how this person operates and why she's funny. Because it's very hard to capture why someone is a creative mind if you don't see that at work.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, it took a long, long time for me to like work my way onto the set. I got there the week that Louis C.K. was hosting.
Okay. And it was pre okay.
Revelations. So I was like, this is weird. This guy really doesn't want to talk to me at all. I wonder why. And now I think I know why. But she was in this sketch where it was a whole day and there was a lot of just shooting the shit in between takes.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to show how funny she is. So they started just riffing. It was shooting on a rooftop. And it was her, Louis, Kenan Thompson, Mikey Day. They were all these people just sort of riffing. And they were looking out in Brooklyn and they were like just doing dumb bits about like, I hate that billboard and I fucking hate banks because banks are like this, just whatever they saw.
Yeah.
And then they saw a bunch of Orthodox Jews.
Oh, sure.
And just went, and I fucking hate Jews because blah, blah, blah. And in that moment, I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
There was no part of me that was like, oh my God, she hates Jews. Like 0%.
Right.
But I was like, if I wanted to, I could destroy everyone's life.
In print, yes.
It just would not. And so I just had to very quickly do the math in my brain of like, is there any way I can translate why this is funny in the moment? No, there isn't. I'm just going to pretend this never happened.
Yes, for sure. Monica and I's new favorite thing is to tell Kristen when she was canceled. So like we all virtually live together. Monica is living in our house right now. And yeah, Kristen will say something and we're like, that's it. You're canceled.
You're done.
That was being broadcast to everyone.
Yep.
You're out.
Yep.
That's it. That's a wrap on you.
And even she, Kristen Bell,
The perfect
says
person.
things that could get her canceled.
Oh, yeah. We all get
all
canceled
do.
many times a day. Well, it's also hard to write things when you have the little cancellation angel and devil on your shoulder.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's helped your access or the openness of people.
It doesn't help with access to other people. It also doesn't help me as a writer to be free enough to write things down even as a first draft.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the process of writing is to just try stuff out.
Throw shit at the
and
wall.
then read it a week later and see if it works. And it's hard to just be like, oh my God, I can't even type that.
Yes,
You know?
yes. So I've been fascinated recently because I guess I didn't even realize this person existed, but both in reading Catch and Kill and listening to the Epstein podcast, I'm blown away with the audacity of some of these folks who do have a humongous secret to hide, actually reaching out and having the arrogance to think you can steer the whole thing in your direction. There's no way any journalist was fooled by him sniffing around. You know, it just is such an obvious...
Yeah, although, I mean, the Epstein thing and the Weinstein thing stayed buried for
quite a long time.
decades.
Yeah.
So it's not like it doesn't work.
Yeah, I was trying to imagine myself being proactive in a crisis like that. And it's just, talk about a swing for the fences. It's for
big
lack of a better
risk.
word, it's impressive that they have that level of gall of like, oh, I'm just going to.
It's crazy. Well, and the people that I was covering for the last few years have a similar kind of gall to them. They really, I was covering a lot of people who they knew that there was no way that I was going to be favorably disposed to them.
Yeah.
They just
Right.
knew based on where I was coming from. and
You're
who I
from New
was.
York.
From New York. I literally would be in reporting situations with various alt-right types or whatever they would call themselves. MAGA people, they would call themselves deplorables. They had all kinds of different words for what they were. Civic nationalists, whatever, white nationalists. It ranged from like actual Nazi types
Sure.
to very, very soft people who would never, ever identify as racist and who would be very offended if you said that.
Right.
And there would be a few moments, if not endless moments, where they would sort of be like, what's your deal, man? Like, what are you doing here?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to treat us?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to lie about us? Right. So all those questions have different answers.
Yeah.
And I was very clear with myself, okay, I'm not going to lie, but I'm also maybe not going to say every single thing I'm thinking. Because in no situation do you say everything you're thinking.
No.
But I was like, I ethically feel like I can't say something that's not true. I couldn't say to them, I love everything you do. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, let me just back up for half a second and just say that your book, Antisocial, Online Extremists, Techno, Utopians, and the Hijacking of the American Conversation, is the book that you're referencing that you, as I understand it, it started maybe as an exploration of trolls, and then you were observing them online, and then you wanted to get in front of them, in front of the real people that were creating all these things?
Yeah. Well, so what it really started as was not even about where are the bad people or what are the bad people doing online. What it really started as was, what is the internet doing to us?
Oh, uh-huh.
What is the internet doing to us as a society? What's it doing to us psychologically, emotionally? What's it doing to our belief structures? Which, I started sort of getting at that stuff in like 2014, 2015, when it was obviously like a big important question, but it wasn't like the question.
Yeah.
And it felt like a little bit off to the side. I always felt a little bit kind of like, am I kind of wasting my time looking at like weird parts of the internet? Like it always felt, especially like sitting in the New Yorker offices in the World Trade Center and having these like people I idolize, like some of the best writers in the world, like walking past my office and being like, why are you looking at whymisogynyiscool.com? And I'm like,
Right.
it's for a project.
Uh-huh. Your search history was probably a little
Dicey.
embarrassing.
My search
for you.
history and my algorithms. I would go on YouTube and YouTube would be like, do you want to buy a diamond mine? Do you want to buy
Oh my God.
a secret gun holster? I didn't have the foresight to do like a separate work and personal account. So
Right.
it would just be weird pickup artist stuff and then like LeBron highlights and Stephen Colbert. And so the algorithm was like, who are you?
Yes, you're describing my Netflix account because my kids sign in my name, and so
Totally.
I get recommended all these unicorn cartoons, and I just think, well, they are off base on me.
I think it's kind of cool to just confuse the algorithms as much as possible.
Sure.
But so it started out as these kind of more abstract questions and less in a political context. It didn't seem like a politics story at the time.
Mhm.
It seemed like maybe a tech story, a business story, a kind of culture story. And so I was exploring like, okay, it feels like everything is getting broken into these decontextualized, chopped up bits where you never go to any homepage ever anymore. It's just your feed throwing things in your face.
Yeah.
That goes for everything. That goes for brands, companies, people, whatever. It's all just sort of based on what the algorithm wants to send you,
Yeah.
which, as we just discussed, is based on search history, but it's also based on triggering the most extreme immediate emotions
Yeah.
Yeah.
as possible quickly. And so,
Yeah, those are good fuel for action.
yes.
Yeah.
And specifically the actions of click, scroll, share, comment. Those are literally the only things the algorithms can measure.
Yes.
The algorithm can't reach into your brain and go like, wow, this thing really made you think. It really changed you. It really made you a better person. That it is just blind to all of that. All it knows is, did you smash button?
Right.
Yeah.
Did we capture your attention
Yeah.
for this amount of time?
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And get you to do things on top of the time. Get you to comment, I fucking hate this or I love this.
Yeah.
Those are the only things it can capture. So in a way that wasn't intentional when these, Silicon Valley disruptor people set out to do this, I think they really believed, yes, they wanted to make money and all this stuff and they wanted power, but I think they really believed like, we are going to give people what they want.
Oh, for sure.
And then they just didn't fully think through. It's like how when you are like building cities and you're like, hey, we've got this great thing called a car and it can get you places faster. Why would we not do that?
Mm-hmm.
And then 50 years later, you're like, oh, that's going to literally bake the planet.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of equivalent. They just didn't think it all through.
Yeah. Well, it's moving so fast in their defense. Pretend someone could be ahead of it is a little naive.
Totally. I mean, we'll get into this, but I think there are ways they could have and should have adjusted over the course of that time. Instead, they've kind of dug in their heels.
Well, we just interviewed the head of Instagram, Adam, and he was, I thought, very transparent in their many failings. He was in charge of the Facebook news feed before he went over to Instagram, and he was being vocal and sounding alarms and all these different things. And yeah, he's just like, yeah, we didn't think of everything. Also, we learn things like real time as the media is learning it and pointing it out. But quite often, we're learning it at the same time. So yeah, I'm mildly sympathetic to what they're doing.
Oh, I am too. And it's not like the point of the work or the book is to be an expose of like, these are the worst people in the world. Or, these are
Right.
not like Harvey Weinstein type figures. They're more like, I would say like the people who designed cities and buildings and cars who thought they were building this beautiful, Le Corbusier or Robert Moses or any of these people where you have this beautiful thing being built that also has these massive consequences. And then it's a question to me of how much can you think and self-reflect and be kind of supple and flexible enough to go like the thing you built your entire life on, not only your fortune and fame, but also just your entire life. If you think about Mark Zuckerberg's life,
Yeah,
literally his entire life is
90%.
built on this one thing
Mm-hmm.
since he was 19 years old.
And I'm sure when he closes his eyes and thinks of himself, I think Facebook is enmeshed into that.
Oh, it's
For
100.
certain,
How could
yeah.
it not be? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, and I try to think of it from the perspective of like, if you suddenly told me that trying your hardest to write beautiful sentences that capture the perfect crystalline reality of the world we live in is actually like killing babies in Myanmar.
Sure.
I'd be like,
Downstream.
what?
Yeah,
Like, that
yeah.
doesn't make sense.
It's hard to wrap your head around it.
Yeah, it would take me a long time.
Yeah.
But there is this thing, the philosopher Richard Rorty, who's like a little bit of a sort of backdrop to the book. So Rorty is like this massively important American pragmatist philosopher who kind of hard to pin down simply, but one of my favorite of his books is called Contingency, Irony, and Solidarity. Contingency is essentially the end of the story isn't written yet. Everything is contingent. Everything could have happened one way or another way. Like essentially he's arguing against this idea of progress will sort of become this thing that works itself out.
Right.
Whether it's through Marxism, there will be this natural class struggle, or whether it's through Enlightenment, the rationality of humans will naturally lead us. He's against all that stuff. It's not going to, there's no natural course of history.
Mm-hmm.
And
it has to be decided.
People have to do it.
Yeah.
So like it may be the case that human ingenuity and rationality like bring us to but it's not just going to be like.
It's not a given.
Yeah. It's not this Hegelian sort of course of history thing. And the reason I thought that was important to bring up for this stuff is that when you are someone who just at 19 drops out of college and starts a thing that ends up being the biggest information tool ever known in human history, you're not a philosopher, you're not a historian, you're building something cool. And I think you imbibe, without really realizing it, just these cultural ideas of like free speech, good.
Mm-hmm.
History is a march of progress. We live in a time where the more globally we get knitted together, the fewer wars we'll have, the more prosperity we'll have. Like all these things, you don't articulate them, but they're just like the water you're swimming in.
Yeah.
So that when you build a thing where you're like, we're going to knock down all the barriers, we're going to tear down all the walls, we're going to disrupt, we're going to innovate, I think there's basically no part of your brain going, hold on, am I going to start a world war?
And you're not questioning the destination. So you have these ideals and you're like, I'm creating this tool that will help us get to this thing that I think we all agree, right, is where we're going. So let's get there faster.
Let's get there faster, exactly. And so there's this thing where I call it the gleaming vehicle of progress. It's just like, look at this vehicle. It's so fast. It's so sleek. It's so beautiful. And nobody asks where it's going. Because it's like, well, it's just like a self-driving car. Like it'll get us there.
Right.
And you're like, what if there's a giant wall that it's about to run into?
Uh-huh. Well, don't you think an element of that is because I will sometimes get spun up about a new direction we're heading in societally, governmentally, whatever you want to call it, globally. And I'm starting to get wound up about it. Let's say it's generally, because I'm getting older, triggered by younger generations and what they prioritize and how they compute the world. And I'm bristling at it. And then a bigger part of my brain goes, this is never stopping. It's never slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
It's never ceasing to evolve. There is no destination. It has a momentum that is, I'm irrelevant in the equation. So even if I don't think that we've agreed upon the destination, I do feel like the march forward is inevitable and almost not worth my trying to steer it.
I guess what I would say is the march is inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
It's the forward part that I question.
Okay.
So I think one thing that I had to work hard to sort of clarify is that it doesn't mean that there are these two choices that are optimism or pessimism, or phones will knit us all together in this beautiful way, or throw all the
Destroy
phones.
us.
Yeah. I think the way out is neither optimism nor pessimism, but this concept of contingency.
Uh-huh.
It is going to be what we make it.
Mm.
So rather than let's throw all the phones off a bridge, or rather than let's sit back and let the phones do whatever they do because it'll probably be good, it's just we don't know. We have to make the future be what it is.
Right.
So, and where I was going with the contingency, irony, solidarity, the irony part is what he means by irony is this very technical definition of irony, meaning like the ability to reflect on the possibility that your deepest held convictions might be wrong.
Yeah.
And that is something that where I think a lot of the Silicon Valley people really struggle. So you started by saying, well, how'd you get to the trolls? All this very airy, abstract stuff that was sort of swimming around in my brain because of how I like to work. And I did not want to say, okay, let me make an argument about this stuff. Let me make a polemic screed about why I think social media is good or bad. Or
Right.
what I like to do is take all these ideas and confusions and sort of like things that I'm not sure how to feel about and go out into the world and try to like weave together people and narratives and moments like a kind of documentary film, almost art project, like, you know.
Right. But I guess the fact that you're interested in it, before you launched into this, you're kind of aware, obviously you're seeing that, let's say you're on Twitter, where most of us are on Twitter, and you're like, oh, wow, there's a lot of angry people. There's a lot of people that are in camps. There's a lot of fighting. The place I come from is like, This, at least aspect of it, seems to be the worst of our nature. Or that there's this anonymity to it that allows us to act in ways we actually don't act like. What place were you starting from? Were you starting from frustration with the way that, say, social media and the internet's working? Or
Yeah, frustration and kind of anxiety of like, where is this
How
all gonna
bad will it
take us?
get?
Yeah. Some of it was sort of observing Twitter and Reddit and all these things. And anonymity we should get back to, because Facebook is not anonymous, but Facebook is full of problems. So it's not any one of these factors. Anonymity is one factor, but there's lots of other factors too. Because I spent a lot of time at the offices of Reddit, which is anonymous, but in many ways they're more proactive about cleaning up their mess.
Okay.
Because Reddit is a super fascinating part of this. But
It's the one thing I still don't understand. Conceptually, literally. People tell me about like Reddit thread. I don't know what they're talking. I met the kid who invented it. He
Alexis
sold it.
or
Yeah,
Steve?
Alexis.
Yeah.
Great guy, Alexis. Loved him.
Yeah.
I even asked him, I don't think I understood after he was done talking. I'm like, I don't know. Just someone starts a topic and then people they write indefinitely on the same topic. Is that what it is?
this is another thing where being in the room helps you. Like, I just sat in the Reddit offices in San Francisco for a long time. The basic architecture of it is very simple. It used to just be links. Here's a link. Then they added comments. Here's my comment on that link.
Okay.
Then they added upvotes and downvotes. I liked your comment. I didn't like your comment. They're thinking, again, because of this kind of basic sort of techno-utopian frame, was like, this is democracy. It's literally voting,
Yeah, yeah.
up or down. They didn't anticipate pylons. They didn't anticipate what they call brigading. They didn't anticipate,
What are pylons?
you decide, I don't like Pomeranian 67, and I'm just going to destroy her regardless of what she says.
Okay.
I say her because it's usually her.
Yeah, yeah.
Who are the targets of,
Yeah. The disagreement immediately unravels into, I hope you get raped.
Totally.
Generally, right, there's always some kind
Or
of
just
threat of physical safety to a
Or
woman.
Or everybody jump in here and downvote her as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And this is part of the answer to how I was able to do some of this work, was just like, they don't go after men in the same way. I met some real unsavory people. And they didn't like me because I was a journalist. They didn't like me because I was Jewish in some cases. But I'm not a woman. So, like, I'm kind of okay. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
It sucks, but it's real. My wife would sort of listen in. Sometimes I would do these interviews in the house, and she could hear, and she'd be like, they weirdly kind of want your respect, even though they fucking hate you.
For sure.
They kind of just, they hear your voice. It's bizarre, and it's like at a deeper level than is.
Yeah, there's some primal stuff happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. So Reddit is kind of, in a way, the purest expression of some of these things. It's very stripped down. The design is very, very old school.
It's like a message board, yeah, as I would have thought of
It's
it.
like a message board. It's also gets more traffic than Twitter or Amazon or
Really?
Netflix or
And does it have the impact downstream that, say, Twitter does? Because in my observation, maybe you can correct me, you would know more about it than I do. I have this theory that the farthest left and right 5% of the spectrum have the loudest voices, and they are commandeering a disproportionate percentage of the news cycle by having these loud, clickable opinions and takes on everything.
Yeah, and some of it is left and right, but some of it is just attitude, temperament. Some of it's not like, I want a 39% tax rate and you want a 41% tax. It's just like, fuck you, I want higher taxes, or fuck you, I want lower taxes.
Yeah.
It's not really a left or right thing. It's more just to like, who can get those emotions stirred up.
Yes.
And that was the thing where these guys, so I mostly spent time with Steve because Alexis had kind of moved away from the company. Steve and Alexis started it together in their dorm room in Charlottesville, Virginia. They went to UVA.
Yeah.
Then they went off, they were in their 20s. They made a few $1 million. They sold the company. They went off. They
sold it early.
They sold it way too early.
But does Reddit stuff track upwards towards policy and news cycles and all that?
Oh, yeah.
It does.
Everything is on Reddit. There's more than 1 million.
Crazy stuff,
Yes.
right? Like there's some like horrific stuff happening on
Oh,
Reddit.
okay. Okay.
Like really bad.
Totally. Well, Reddit is one of the reasons I spent so much time at Reddit specifically, is because it is in many ways one of the clearest mirrors onto what social media is, because it's so stripped down and everything is on there. The worst stuff, the best stuff, the creativity, the partnership. I mean, I was focusing on the antisocial side of it, but there's a huge amount of pro-social side of, and not only on Reddit, but everywhere.
People are finding their mob, they're finding their tribe, they're going to events, they're
All that stuff.
forming a life based on all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, all the things you said, forming a mob, going to events.
Yeah, mob was the wrong word.
No, but it is exactly like the mirror. It is just both at the same time. It is the pro-social and the antisocial exactly at the same time.
Right.
And one can't exist without the other.
Yeah.
So The reason I wanted to delve into the bad stuff is not because I'm a masochist or because I like hanging out with the worst people, but because I just felt like that part had been underexplored.
Yeah.
I felt like essentially the first 10 years of social media was them being just given a free halo effect. Everything was pro-social. Everything was Tahrir Square, and there's going to be these revolutions and
Yeah, the Arab Spring.
Arab Spring, and I was just like, there's no one really digging. Not no one. There were people, but it just the collective narrative was not being seen in this balanced way.
Yeah.
So the first thing I looked at in 2014 was this guy in Chicago who was building a clickbait website that was not political at all.
Okay.
It was cats riding skateboards, and he
Feel good stuff.
wasting time stuff.
Yeah.
So I met him at a dinner where I was at a tech conference and I was there to do something else, but he was randomly seated next to me. And he started telling me what he did. And I was like, it's not intrinsically harmful what you're doing, but you are wasting people's time. You're not making them smarter. He looked at my little name tag and said, oh, so you work for the New Yorker. Let me tell you how to improve the New Yorker. You need more pictures. You need shorter sentences. You guys are going to get way more clicks if you just do like listicles.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck you, buddy. Like, you're not wrong.
Right.
But the reason I'm annoyed is because you're right, but you just think you're like smug about it.
Sure. Or
Like-
that would be a defendable goal.
That would be good for the world.
Yeah.
Yes, it's good for your business, but you've conflated, and this became an obsession with me, people who conflate what's good for them and what's good for the world, what's good for the bottom line, and that's a particular internet problem. So I was so intrigued and provoked by this guy that I said, I'm going to do a profile of you. And he was like, okay, great.
Yeah. I hate your magazine. It's fucked. Yeah, I'd love to be a subject of your profile.
And I also was aware that like I have my biases and I'm writing about a new media thing in an old media thing. I don't want to be just like catty about it. So I tried to really understand where he was coming from. And he was a smart guy. He was a nice guy. But then our value system was so different, particularly on this point, that he kept saying to me, well, our motto is, if it gets clicks, it's good. And I would say, do you mean good for the money in your pocket or good ethically or quality-wise? And he was like, I don't understand the difference.
Right.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. We've talked before about Rob building our website on Squarespace, and I bring it up again because it's a perfect example of what they do well. Rob had all the pieces, the content, the vision, the ideas, but he needed something to actually take all that and make it public facing. And Squarespace was that bridge. Maybe you're in the same spot. You've been developing something, a business, a skill set, a body of work, and it's been private. It's been yours, but at some point you're ready to put it out there, and that transition from private to public can feel like a huge leap. Squarespace makes it feel like a step. Beautiful templates, built-in SEO, email campaigns, scheduling, analytics, everything you need to go from I've been working on this to here it is, come find me. All in one place, no code, no stitching together a bunch of different tools. So if you've been sitting on something and waiting for the right moment, this might be it. Head to squarespace.com/DAX for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code DAX to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. You've heard us talk about BetterHelp for a while, but I don't know that we've ever talked about how much people love this service when they use it. BetterHelp has an average live therapy session rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on over 1.7 million client session reviews. And you can check out the reviews yourself at betterhelp.com/reviews to see how much they love BetterHelp. Knowing that kind of service feedback from real people speaks for itself. I'm a huge proponent of therapy, as we've talked about before. I've learned so many things about myself that I believe truly only an outside, objective person could help me come to. BetterHelp makes it easy to get started. Answer a few questions, get matched with a therapist based on your needs, and switch therapists at any time if it's not the right fit. See the reviews, see what stands out, and see if BetterHelp is right for you. Visit betterhelp.com/DAX. That's betterhelp.com/DAX. We get support from Apple Gift Card. Back to school is here, and for many, that means some big life transitions. Whether they are heading into a new grade or setting up a dorm for the first time, you want to give them something that actually supports their growth and success. Apple Gift Card is a versatile solution because it takes the guesswork out of gifting. It's not just about a new pair of AirPods for focus. It's about giving them the invaluable chance to choose the digital tools and subscriptions that suit their unique journey. They can use it for productivity apps on the App Store, movie nights on Apple TV, or extra iCloud storage for all those new memories. With Apple Gift Card, it's so empowering to give the students their freedom to allocate their own resources. Celebrate their new academic chapter. Visit applegiftcard.apple.com to celebrate their milestones and gift one today. This episode is supported by Helix. All right, let's talk about something we both really care deeply about: sleep.
It's the most important thing. I've had my Helix mattress for years now, and I genuinely think it's one of the best investments you can make for your home. Mine still feels just like it did when I first got it.
Well, that's the thing. It's not one of those mattresses that caves in after 6 months. These things are built to last. And I'm a side sleeper. I ordered a side sleeper and I get hot, so I have cooling. And I can't tell you how much more comfortable it is to be in there not sweating and tossing and turning.
Cooling is really important. I've read that you're supposed to sleep a little bit cold. So I also have cooling. And they have over 20 models, so it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. You just go take their quiz and they match you to what actually works for your body.
Plus, they've got cooling upgrades, which heading into summer, non-negotiable.
Truly.
Go to helixsleep.com/armchair for 20% off. That's helixsleep.com/armchair for 20% off. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/armchair.
And I gotta say, I'm gonna do this a bunch during this interview, and I'm gonna get in trouble at times, but I'm gonna do it anyways, which is, what did your parents do for a living?
Doctors.
There you go. So I will say I get a little frustrated with people that'll pat themselves on the back too much, because if you're born into a household of doctors, you're starting at a pretty good spot where they've already dedicated their lives to helping people. My dad sold cars, and if he could sell one with a dent in it that no one saw, that was an extra $200, and we could make, so my dad was fucking take what you can get and run like hell. And so I can relate very often. Monica and I will get in these conversations, and I'm like, I hate to say it, but I have that obsession and the coveting of money and at all costs. And then what's fair? Oh, because someone went to that school, that's fair? Fuck that. The whole system's not fair. I'm going to get mine. So I don't longer feel that way, but I definitely understand how many people are given the worldview of this is a fucking video game and get some points.
Totally.
And so I don't think you can blame people so much if that's what they were born into.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And I agree in the sense that I don't think the most productive place to go with that is to go, this is a bad person.
Right.
I want to condemn this individual as a bad apple. I think the thing that's important is, what are the systems that are driving people to behave the way they are?
It's also, I just want to point out, it's something I find myself in, it is a luxury to be finding purpose. I'm so grateful to have the luxury. But for many years, purpose wasn't on my agenda. It was like, get some fucking money so I can stop sweating the price of gas. Yeah. It all becomes like, what's on fire?
Yes. Well, that's the Maslow's pyramid thing.
Yeah.
And, then the question is, do you get addicted to that? I mean, this kid, when I met him, was a 27-year-old millionaire. At what point do you actually rise up to the level of the Maslow's pyramid where you're actually trying to transcend that?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, it's not about moral condemnation in the sense that I don't think this guy's a bad guy. I do think it's important, though, to flesh out our actual profound disagreements of principle, especially as we get more into the people who are actively like tearing apart the fabric of our democracy, which I ended up writing about more.
Yeah. And again, I'm probably going to point out some things that'll sound like I'm a sympathizer, and that's not the case. It's more just for like a sense of emotionally maybe what's going on with people, which I'm sure you are equally interested in.
Totally. This is part of when we were talking about the angel and demon of cancellation on your shoulder. There were times when I was like, I'm so interested in what drives these people and explaining it that I am worried that I'm going to get mistaken for excusing it.
Sure.
Because in the book, I go deep into the life history of people that are doing bad things in the world, just objectively making this world a worse place. And I really, really want to tunnel into what was it with their relationship with their parents. It's also, you have to understand it if you want to be able to create systems that will create
correct for it.
better
Yes.
conditions. So
yeah,
I started with this clickbait entrepreneur guy in Chicago then Trump comes down the escalator, and I immediately am like, okay, all the incentive structures, all the business incentives, the intentional incentives, the psychological tricks, all the things that I saw this sort of innocent, neutral kid doing, that's what this guy's going to do, and he's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I am sad to say I made a lot of bets that I won.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also was like, okay, my thing that I've been sort of trying to puzzle through and not knowing exactly what the story is, this just became the story of American politics. So then I was like, okay, now I need to broaden my scope. It's not just about how this kid is making money on Facebook. It's about how the same things that allow him to be a 27-year-old millionaire on Facebook are the things that are going to destroy everything we hold dear.
I want to know how you go from like observing them online to then meeting them.
Well, so it was summer of 2016. I had been saying kind of internally, like making bets with my editors and people like, these forces are too strong. Like Trump's going to win. And eventually it just got to the point where they're like, okay, tell that story in a way that is not just you putting out your opinion and sort of writing an op-ed about how, but like, show me who's doing it.
Yeah.
And we were already hearing rumors, even back then pre-election, that like maybe the Russians are doing it and like maybe the bots are doing it. And I was like, even if it's true that the Russians are doing it, there's no way that there is more of the Russians doing it. I'm doing air quotes, the Russians. Like, there's no way that these, whatever, 200 people who are sitting in a building being paid to do this are having more of an effect on the election than Americans who are doing this
Who are
of
driving
their
all
own
the
free
traffic,
will.
yeah.
There's just, like, yes, bots are a problem, and yes, troll farms are a problem, but most of this is real people.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to find the people who are doing this.
Right.
And I was trying to stay within gray territory. At first, I didn't go straight for just the outright Nazi stuff. I felt like that was a little too salacious. You want to be able to, again, not excuse, but find some way into understanding. It's very, very hard to find your way into understanding why just an outright anti-Semite, just out and out cross-burning person. I did end up getting there in the book because while I was reporting the book, Charlottesville happened. And I went, oh shit, I have to go there.
Right.
But I started out with, I want to find someone who wants Hillary to lose for reasons that are not just pure blind hatred, but like has reasons
Mm-hmm.
and is really effective at reverse engineering and hacking the attentional marketplace to make that a reality. I wanted to find someone who's just sitting at home in their living room doing it freelance and in a way that would not have been possible without these algorithms. Like, you could do it as a super billionaire Rupert Murdoch type person by like just buying up the press apparatus. But the fact that you could just do it from your laptop is new in human history.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Because we acknowledge the algorithms are virtually giving us exactly what we want to read already, we're already siloed. How would someone penetrate that algorithm from an opposing viewpoint?
So here's how they do it. Well, so there's a lot of wiggle room within they're giving us what we want because there's different versions of us and what we want.
For sure.
There's the twitchy lizard brain version. There's the deeper, more considered version. So you can get people who don't want Doritos to eat Doritos by giving them Doritos.
Yeah.
It's not actually that deep and complex. You just have to, it's a trick you have to get good at.
Yeah.
You put lines out to 20 people and you end up finding the one perfect person. Because a lot of what a New Yorker style thing is finding the one perfect person who's going to encapsulate a larger set of concerns.
That's like a fractal of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fractal. Yeah. They call it the donkey, like the person who can carry the weight of the story you want to tell.
Oh, okay.
Like Lawrence Wright, when he was writing about Scientology, his first piece about that.
That was the best article I've ever read in my life.
So if you remember that article, all these articles, this is like super dumb, like magazine nerd thing, but they all have a little thing above the title that's called a rubric. And it's called either profiles or a reporter at large or whatever. That one was technically a profile of Paul Haggis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody read that and went, wow, I now know about Paul Haggis.
Right. The career, the life and times of Paul Haggis.
Right. But because Paul Haggis was the quote unquote donkey in that story, he was the one carrying the load of the, right? Because you have to go in through someone. So my Paul Haggis was this guy. I hesitate. Maybe we shouldn't even like give him more attention by using his name.
Yeah.
So the guy I used, I called him up and said, I am interested in how people are using social media to do unprecedented things in politics.
Really quick. How do you even, because everyone is operating under an alias or a Foxcatcher 29. How do you even find out who the guy really is?
Well, the thing is, some people are not.
Oh, okay. So he was living out loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
People who've been at this for a long time, there's generally a time when they have either been doxxed or they've outed themselves or something has happened where they go, this is going to be who I am. Now, this particular guy, he was a lawyer. He went to law school. He had a wife and a kid and a dog, and they like to go hiking. And actually,
He was on the right path.
yeah. Well, and this is when I met him.
Oh,
He was
okay.
This is so.
Mm-mm.
Every time you meet one of these people, and I'm going to tell you about other people that it's going to be the same thing. Every time, it is not the person you expect.
Oh, wow.
It is never the 15-year-old in a hoodie in a basement. This guy was about 40. This was his second marriage. Both of his wives were non-white. He was, really into exercise and fitness. This was, summer 2016. And I just wanted to understand what the fuck was happening on the internet. So I was like, okay, show me how you do what you do. And right away I was like, okay, this guy's not dumb. He's not living by himself and, he's a weirdo in many ways, but he's not the kind of weirdo.
He's not
I was picturing.
isolated.
He's not isolated.
He's not Ted Kaczynski.
Not Ted Kaczynski. He's obviously not a white nationalist in good standing because you get kicked out of being a white nationalist if your wife is of Iranian descent. And I actually later found out that his first wife had worked at Facebook, and in the divorce, he got half of her Facebook stock, which is how he funds all of his.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Some of this stuff is like, if it was a novel, they'd be like, come on.
Too
convenient.
Too on the nose.
Too on the nose. I mean, wait till we get to the guy who's the top Nazi propagandist in the country who was married to a Jewish woman and who had a black brother, and we'll get there eventually.
Oh, I love that. Complicated.
Oh man.
So-
mixed messages.
So I get.
We love mixed messages.
We do. We do.
And again, you asked me this before, like, didn't they look at you and go like, aren't you going to be on the, you're from New York, all this stuff. Sometimes I would literally meet someone at a party, like the Deplorable, one of the big parties I went to was called the Deplorable. It was their big inauguration party.
Oh,
and
that's a cute plan.
Isn't that nice?
Deplorable,
Isn't
right?
that fun?
Right, Monica? Deplorable?
This is how I spent about 3.5 years going in my head. But there were times where I just had to go, because I wasn't going to lie and because I wasn't going to say the full truth. I just went, you know what, man, just take a look at me. Like, look at my glasses, look at my beard, just make assumptions and they're probably close enough.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were.
Thin slice me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, it's not that far off. Now, can you just tell me what you want to tell me?
Yeah.
And then usually it would work. And or sometimes they would be like, take my notebook and tear it up and be like, fuck you. It was like 50-50.
Yeah.
So when I get to this guy's house in California, he's like, okay, I have a laptop, I have an iPad, and I live stream on my iPad. And like, that's it. I have a phone because people text me stuff. And that's how I'm going to reverse engineer the news cycle and like damage Hillary's brand enough that she's going to lose. I mean, obviously in concert with other people, but like, I'm going to do my part to hijack the narrative. And I was like, come on, man. Like, how are you going to? He's like, okay, watch. So, I mean, I was with him for days and days, and he does it multiple times a day. He was like, one of the things that people really respond to viscerally and emotionally is someone being sick or disgusting or like, especially a woman. If I can make people think that she's just diseased and like rotting from the inside, they won't want to vote for her. Never mind that he was like, I have all these things about her foundation and the stuff they're doing in Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and I have like, he had all those things on his mind, but he was like, that's not going to go viral. That's not going to hit people at these emotional flashpoints that are going to make them click and comment. And what's going to make them click and freak out is she's diseased.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So he goes, okay, there's these little video clips of her where she's blinking in a weird way, and I'm going to say that that's her having a mini seizure. Or she did an interview sitting down, so I'm going to say she can't stand up. Or there's like a little bulge in her pocket. I'm going to say that's her catheter. And so part of it is just throwing shit out there, but part of it is also condensing it so that it becomes that it spikes into the national discourse. Because to your point, you don't just want it to stay in your silo.
Yeah.
You want to pollute the entire national discourse with it. So he would go, okay, I'm going to do a live stream on Periscope, and I'm going to get, it doesn't have to be 1 million people. It could be 1,000 people or 500 people. If they're passionate enough and hardcore enough, and we all pick the same hashtag at the same time, and we get enough of the right kind of images and words all in the right kind of combination, and it spikes quickly enough, that will become a trending hashtag on Twitter. So he would sit in this video conference and go, okay, today it's going to be Hillary's bags, because Hillary's got bags. She's got bags under her eyes. She's got bags of catheter bags. She's got bags. So it's like, let's all go do Hillary's bags right now. Go to Twitter. They all do it. None of this is against the rules, by the way.
Right.
Twitter doesn't have a rule that maybe they should.
Right.
But they don't have a rule against you and your buddies hijacking the news.
Right.
They all go to Twitter. They do the hashtag. If they do it right, it trends. Then once something is trending on Twitter, that is a signal to every journalist in the world, which is the core audience of Twitter, to go, okay,
It so is.
to go, this is now a thing. You have now been objectively given permission to go after this as a thing.
Yeah.
Which,
Well, now it's in the public consciousness, so it
Exactly.
deserves reporting on.
exactly, which is misleading in a lot of ways, right? Because
Yeah.
most Americans are not on Twitter.
Yeah.
Most people on Twitter are not talking about Hillary's catheter bags or whatever.
Right.
It's just an engineered outrage.
Mhm.
But because you've now seen it in the little box, and by the way, Twitter never said that the little box of trending hashtags are the things that objectively the most people are talking about. It is a proprietary algorithm that they've never shared how they come up with it.
So it's not just a volume thing.
It's not a volume thing. It's
Oh.
it's a bunch of factors. It's speed, it's concentration.
Uh-huh.
It's supposed to measure virality. Well, and so these are all proprietary companies that don't share how they do it. But it just so happens that if you just do your homework and learn how to reverse engineer it, you can have this effect. And then he would just sit me down and explain, okay, so watch what's going to happen. It's going to trend. I bet you that if Chris Cillizza picks it up at CNN and then he, retweets it, then Brian Stelter's going to notice it, and then he's going to maybe consider talking about it. I know it's going to end up on the Drudge Report, and Rush is probably going to talk about it, and then maybe Sean Hannity's going to talk about it. Not because this guy's some kind of like prophet or genius, just because he's just like, this is what he does all day. He pays attention. It's
Yeah.
like being like a stock trader.
He's a great ad man.
And then I would go back to my hotel and wake up the next day and scan the headlines and be like, there's some headline that's like, some people are talking about maybe Hillary might be sick. And I'm like, that's because of this guy.
Right.
Oh my God.
That's impressive.
That is
all
crazy.
ethics aside, that is really impressive.
Yes. And there was a part of me that was like, there's kind of like an Ocean's 11 element of this.
Yeah, of course.
You're like, you don't want them to rob the thing, but you're kind of like, well, how are they going to pull it off?
Well, as technology has
Wow.
increased, I have only felt increasingly less a part of everything, or that the system is so big, and to think someone else went the other direction with this, and like, oh no, I can have a huge impact. So he had the clear objective of making sure Hillary didn't get elected.
Right.
Yeah, and
But
then-
also becoming a big player in some kind of game. It's an adrenaline rush. It's
Yeah.
addictive. You make money from it. Like he became a brand. He became a media brand. What all the people in my book have in common, and it's like 24 people who make up this sort of ensemble cast, from the guy in Chicago to the Nazis, what they're all actually good at is media creation, media propaganda, messaging. They're not like great political thinkers. They're great messengers.
yeah. Well, I got to tell you, the time I was impressed by it is Firefest. Did you watch any of those
Yeah,
documentaries?
yeah.
I watched both of them. And the fact that company, Fuck Jerry or whatever it is, they really had engineered this thing with the yellow screen, and it, by God, it fucking worked. And when they were describing it, I'm like, why is this going to work? And they were just dead right. It worked like crazy.
You know what else Fuck Jerry engineered?
What?
One of those documentaries.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
he
They
did.
they produced the one.
Which
yeah.
is even like, I watched the one, I think it was the Netflix one, I can't remember which one. And I then looked at the credits and was like, what?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that, it just,
I
the
know.
point is, there's no like floor where you go, okay, this is where the human fingerprints aren't on it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the way down.
I don't have this opinion, but let me just be
Yeah.
a contrarian for
Yeah.
1 second. I can imagine sitting at home listening to this and going, okay, great. So, yeah, the individual has this power that in the past was really held just by the powerful who owned the monopoly of newspapers. I could see where a lot of people would think, well, this has been democratized, and you're pissed that your average human being now has sway over what we're taking in. But why do you prefer it be one of these megaliths that's setting the story?
Well, and to take it one step further, I'm pissed because I'm losing the power in that equation because I don't get to sit in the New Yorker and go, no, here's what you should think.
Yeah, any story that's worth consuming should be fact checked. Now, I am of that opinion, but I can definitely see where people go like, fuck that. No, I trust this guy more than your fact checkers at.
Totally. And
Yeah.
and just numerically speaking, that is true.
Right, right.
So I think you're totally right there. And I go to some length in the book, and maybe people will think I should have gone to more length to do this. To be clear, the good old days of gatekeeper media were not good old days. There were
Yeah.
huge, massive blind spots that were, it's not possible to go back to that, and it's not desirable to go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't be, well, let's just put this genie back in the box. So it's not an argument-driven book in the sense that I'm not like every chapter ends with my checklist of things we should do.
Right.
It's a story.
Yeah.
And I think the point of getting drawn into the deep complexity of these stories is to look at all the sides of it and go, this is really complicated.
Mm-hmm.
There's no clean solution. We have to work our way out.
I'm of the opinion, because Yeah, I don't think you legislate yourself out of this situation at all.
Some legislation can help, but it's not going to.
Unless you're dismantling the First Amendment, I just don't see a legislative answer to this. So I guess what I would be hoping, and the best side of myself would want you to have figured out some underlying part of their human experience that led to this, to this sense. Maybe I'm wrong, but I once watched a great 60 Minutes segment on the sovereign citizens, and these people, by my definition, are insane. You know, they won't carry a license. They've killed all these law enforcement agents, and they have this very interesting view of what it means to be a sovereign citizen. But when 60 Minutes looked at it, almost without exception, almost every member of that group within the last few years had a good paying blue collar job, and they lost that.
Mm-hmm.
And so what was unavoidable was that was a part of all of their stories.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really ignore that. So it's like when you're trying to talk about how to legislatively affect the sovereign citizens, I don't know that you're going to have a lot of success in that. But if we can address the scenario by which these things are born out of, I just feel like that's a lot better approach for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the ounce of prevention approach.
Yes, there are a lot of sort of commonalities and patterns that I encountered, and I do try to be clear that it's not a one-size-fits-all prescriptive thing, that, 12% social isolation mixed with 5% prednisone addiction equals 89% chance of Nazi. Like,
yeah,
there's definitely economic factors for sure. Although a lot of people that I encountered were very, very bucolic middle class, had everything handed to them. Sometimes there's just personal. Sometimes there's such an addiction to hyper-contrarianism.
Yeah.
That it's like one of the ways I think I described it was like, you guys know what the red pill is, the sort of obsession with
The Matrix.
the Matrix. Yeah. The Matrix, the red pill analogy from the Matrix ends up being used all over the internet to be like, take the red pill and understand the
See
truth.
the truth.
See the truth that we're actually sovereign citizens that don't need to respond to law enforcement, or that we're, that climate change is a hoax or whatever. These are all red pills.
Yeah.
And I sort of said, like, there's a kind of personality where you're so addicted to red pills that you'll just swallow anything with a pinkish hue without being like, is this full of arsenic, or is this, like, what is this? You'll just swallow it because you're like, the thrill of it is so addictive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's personal elements. The guy who grew up, poor in an Illinois junkyard, of course the system wasn't working for him. And then, he's told that the problem is that you have too much white privilege. And he's like, I do not feel like I have too much white privilege.
Yeah.
And again, this is where you get into these tricky, I'm not excusing or saying that I think he's right about that. I actually feel like it's part of my job to bring my brain to bear and go, like, I think you're wrong about that.
Yeah.
But I do think it's incumbent on us to understand the argument and go, okay, well, this,
Well, again, I just want to point out, there is him being right or wrong about that. And then there is a human being on planet Earth that has these feelings and these motivations.
Right.
And then they're able to act on that.
Right.
And so the question is, do you want to have an impact on that? And,
Right.
and what is the approach for that, I guess?
And some of it is broad and systemic, and some of it is personal. And sometimes there's a over-reliance on everybody wanting to have a clean rosebud moment and go like, well, that's just the moment. And if we could just make sure that nobody ever has their sled taken away from them, they won't grow up to be assholes. But so that's not scalable,
right?
As the tech guys say. But it's also important to look at how all the factors play against each other. So some of it is this feeling of, don't tell me what to say. I feel hemmed in. I can say whatever I want. Some of it is, I often found people would have a kind of combination of a very high IQ and a very low EQ.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw this with one of the sections of my book is actually I embedded at the White House briefing room, because some of these just absolute troll performance artist type people were in this new timeline we're in getting White House press credentials.
Oh, it's so spectacular.
I was at the Deplora Ball. I was sitting at the Deplora Ball,
my God.
and I meet this sort of like, you guys know Milo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Milo's the fabulous British.
I think Bill Maher had him on.
Yes.
He
Yep.
was on. Yeah.
He was.
Yep.
I've spent a lot of time with Milo too. Milo used to make fun of me, call me a soy boy for getting soy milk in my coffee.
Oh, okay.
And then he would drink hot coffee through a straw so he didn't stain his teeth.
Oh my God.
You're making fun of me in this scenario? But Milo is a kind of species. There's like other people who do that thing, like I'm fabulous, I'm unconcerned. Like the trolling that they do is to just be so fabulous that no one can say anything to them.
Yeah, all press is good press.
All press is good
It's all
press.
attention. You're
You-
talking about me. I'm not talking about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All the haters love me. I love my haters.
Yeah.
Ugly people hate me. That's one of the shirts that Milo, wears, and it's just like it's really dumb and despicable. Whatever. There's a million things to say, but
By the way, if he doesn't outrage us, he doesn't have a position.
Exactly.
So you also have to recognize everyone's own role in it. But that is what they're trading on. It's the same way that it's frustrating that people don't understand the actual mission of terrorism, which is a low barrier of entry act that will warrant an outsized reaction that will cripple a state's economy, that we would probably not respond then in the way that we do, because we would know, oh, we're doing exactly as they would want us to
which
do.
is very much exactly the intention of trolling.
Yeah.
The intention of trolling is to say one little thing and just like, I'm not mad, you're mad. And then suddenly you're the center of attention and you just get to back off. I mean, imagine if you had no experience in leadership or politics or anything except corruption, and you could just say, I think this black guy wasn't born in America and he shouldn't be president. And you got to control mainstream media for as long as you wanted just by saying that and not having the basic human decency to not say that.
Yeah.
And then maybe imagine if you could do that enough that you could literally become president because of it.
Yeah.
That would be a great trick you could play.
Sure.
And turns out we live in that timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this concept of fitness that, Darwinian fitness means just the fittest will survive. There's also a kind of fitness that means like it's like ethically or morally fit, like the news that's fit to print.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I sort of started playing with is a meme like birtherism or a meme like, feminists are worse than cancer or whatever. The worst thing you can think of is maximally fit in the Darwinian world of social media. It is maximally engineered to be a viral meme, and it is 0% fit in the old gatekeeper media sense. There's no good gatekeeper media paper of record that would print an article saying, gee, I wonder if this president was born in America, because it's not true.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is perfect catnip for people to go, how dare you?
Mm-hmm.
How dare you, sir? And you can't not do that. There can't be no one in the world who tells Donald Trump he's wrong for saying that, because then you...
Yeah, exactly. That's how it's
Well,
no.
I
Just like-
disagree. I mean, I really think, look, again, we're getting dangerously political for the show, but I will say, we're in a bed we made. There's no getting around that. If no one ever would have responded to any of the outrageous shit he said, there wouldn't be one. Like, we are as responsible as anyone that voted for him if you were perpetuating and endlessly talking about and giving attention to and getting him in the news cycle. We're playing along.
What I say, I'm glad there are two of you here, because you're just acting out the two. I literally do think you're both right, because what I say in the book is trolls set such an ingenious trap, because to respond to them is to give them fuel.
Mm-hmm.
To not respond to them is to create the perception that you are okay
that
with what
it's
they're
okay.
saying.
Yeah.
Neither
But that
of those
part
is
I
good.
push back on. Why? Explain why that I don't engage with someone saying something absolutely ridiculous. Like, I wouldn't engage with a flat earther. I'm not going to waste my time. If you think the earth is flat, good on you. I would never waste 1 second of my time
But
saying
what
that.
if you're already an influential person like Kyrie Irving, who's in front of TV cameras, and then you're saying the earth is flat? What if you're being interviewed on TV and
Yeah.
you say, yeah, I was really glad that we won this game. I really played good defense. Also, the earth is flat and blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
At
Now-
some point, somebody's got to go, wait. Don't tell people that. That's wrong.
Well, I kind of disagree because on its surface, 99% of people are going to hear that and go, oh my God, that guy thinks it's this. Now, I come out and I attack him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I've amplified that message hugely. And now something emotional starts happening.
Mm-hmm.
So someone else who feels like an underdog because they didn't go to an Ivy League school or they weren't educated, now there's an emotional bond they have with that person, that someone with power, status, and stature is calling that person out and belittling them. Now I've created an ally for somebody who might not even be a flat earther, but the emotional component is so compelling and so relatable that now they're defending some guy, and then by virtue of that, defending his position on flat earth. That's the risk it runs.
100%. 100%. There is no way out. I will take that one step further. When I go into the world of one of these people who I think is bad or wrong, and I write an article in the New Yorker pointing out how they're bad or wrong, I run the risk of gaining them more exposure and more fans who are going, this egghead, elitist, whatever,
Uh-huh.
just went to go prove that you're wrong. But like, fuck that guy.
Yeah. And also, let me just add something.
Yeah.
I'm not being critical.
Yeah.
I cherish your role in our society and the Fourth Estate and all that. But you put your article in the New Yorker. Guess what? It's only reaching people who already thought that.
Right.
It's already, I'm going to read it. I'm going to yeah, I totally agree with that because I already fucking subscribed to the New Yorker. So of course I do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One of the moments that this really hit me. I mean, I was constantly thinking about this and constantly thinking about the trade-offs. It's very, very complicated. There were a few moments where, somebody would tell me, my whole worldview is based on, fuck you, you smug elite motherfucker. You don't get to tell me what to think. And then I would go write that quote in the New Yorker and they would have to put a little accent over elite.
Oh, uh-huh.
And I'd be like, we're the problem.
Yeah.
Like,
You're confirming exactly what he accused you of.
could we just make an exception in this one case?
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
We are supported by Walden University. You know that feeling when you've been thinking about making a move, going after the degree, the promotion, the thing you keep telling yourself you'll get to someday? Walden University is built for that moment. For over 50 years, Walden has helped working professionals get the W, the knowledge, the skills, and the confidence to create real change in their careers and communities. Their programs are designed around your life, not the other way around. With Tempo Learning available in select programs, there are no rigid schedules or set weekly deadlines. You move at your own pace. And Walden's faculty aren't just academics. They're practitioners who bring real-world experience into everything they teach. From your first class to career coaching and beyond, Walden is your partner the whole way. Take the first step and learn at a pace that works for you. Visit waldenu.edu. Walden University. Set a course for change. Certified to operate by Chev. This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place.
Let's talk bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, but it does not have to be that way.
With SoFi high-yield checking and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit.
No account or overdraft fees, which feels rare these days. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, perfect for getting ahead of a bill or grabbing what you need right when you need it.
Plus, get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/armchair. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank N.A., member FDIC. Terms apply. This episode is brought to you by ServiceNow. Look, I have my dream job. I get to talk to folks I admire like crazy and ask them virtually any question that I want to. I can't imagine a better way to spend my time. But even dream jobs have some not so dreamy parts, the stuff that gets in the way of the actual work. Now, that's where ServiceNow's AI specialists come in. They don't just tell you what you should do about your busy work. They actually do it, start to finish. Cases closed, requests handled, no extra work for you. So you and your team can focus on what matters most, which for me is, are they obsessed with male bodies on the same level as I am?
They never are.
To learn how to put AI to work for people, visit servicenow.com.
Living your best life means being extra where it counts and skipping the extra where you don't need it. Like in your cleaning products. That's where Seventh Generation comes in. Their bio-based cleaning power delivers a powerful clean with nothing extra in the bottle. Need a dish soap that cuts through the tough grease? A detergent that tackles the worst stains and odors? Seventh Generation handles it all without any dyes or artificial fragrances. Real clean doesn't have to come with a long list of add-ons. Upgrade to a powerful clean without anything extra. Look for Seventh Generation dish soap and laundry detergent wherever you shop for your cleaning products.
And the other thing is the trolling scenario. It's people who have the power to enact massive cultural or political harm.
Yeah.
Part of it depends on what kind of microphone you have to begin with. So there's a difference between some random anonymous guy on Twitter saying, I think the earth is flat or I think whatever, versus someone who is already a massive celebrity who is maybe actually having some Like if someone goes on TV tomorrow, if Ellen goes on TV tomorrow and says, hey, nobody wash your hands and this coronavirus thing, just do a silly dance and it'll all work itself out. Then there's like material harm that might happen.
Yeah.
And so part of it depends on like, what are you preventing?
But again, the basketball player, like when he says that no one responds, to me that files him into the, he's the nut in front of 7-Eleven. Now, if Alec Baldwin engages with that guy, now he's not a nut in front of 7-Eleven. He's like, Alec Baldwin's taking him serious. And
But
now
he's not a nut in front of 7-Eleven.
He
He's
is.
someone
Anyone who
has-
says the earth is flat is a fucking nut.
Okay, in your perspective, but he has a lot of fans and people who believe what he says, whether they should or shouldn't, they do.
I don't know if I buy that. I think they stand with him, but I don't know if it converts your opinion.
I
don't
just
know.
don't know if we can, in the current year, make the argument that people with insane, just objectively wrong opinions can't hold real power.
Yeah, we can't run that risk.
Well, it's not even a risk. The president doesn't think climate change is happening.
Yeah.
It's like that's the most dangerous fact about the world we live in right now. So it can't be like, well, everybody knows climate change is real because of the very identity formation tangle we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Because people go, I don't want the eggheads telling me what to do with my car and my air conditioner, whatever. We're in the tangle right now. I agree with you that the steps we took to get into it were part of this vast, complex finger trap scenario that we all led into in our own ways and were blinded to, and partly because of the technology stuff we were talking about. We blundered into this collectively.
Yeah. Let me just ask both of you. Do you believe that they should say the names of the mass shooters?
Well, this is something I think about all the time with, I don't even know whether to name the people
in your story.
In my story. I name them in the book because of, journalistic, all kinds of reasons. There are some people I don't because they were sources who were trusting me with their anonymity. But I do think that naming them on a TV show is different. I think what kind of picture you choose to show of them and does it glorify them? I think these are all difficult questions.
I think if we kept them entirely anonymous and there was no glory and there was no sense that they would finally have gotten their comeuppance, but you would have to learn their name. You'd have to know about them. These are people who feel like they didn't exist and they want to hurt as many people as possible to be seen. I think seeing them proves that the calculus works.
Well, I'll tell you, there's one woman who I did a section of the book about, who I've probably spent more time talking to than any of them. And actually, she never wanted anyone to know her name. She was not in it for the fame. She wanted to be part of something.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to have an identity. She wanted to feel like she was someone. And not even in a fame or power sense, just like wanted to be part of a community. And I think we all know people who don't, the way they see themselves is by seeing themselves reflected back from other people. She was just one of those people like, who am I? I'm the way people respond to me. And she was really good at service. She was a good bartender for this reason, because she was very good at creating an intimacy with someone, like an immediate intimacy with a stranger. And she grew up in New Jersey, a lot of friends of different races and whatever. She also knew that her grandmother grew up in the 30s in Germany, but they didn't really talk about it very much. And then she moved to a new place, didn't really know a lot of people, started dating a guy who spent a lot of time on the internet and would sort of make these jokes that she didn't really understand. He would like make a distinction between Jews and white people.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd be like, why? Jews seem like they're white to me. And he'd be like, all right, we'll talk about that later. This is over like months and months and months. And she just kept getting more and more of these clues. And then one day he said something about the day of the rope. And she was like, I don't know what that is. It was just a joke, like, haha, day of the rope. And she Googled it on her phone, and a Reddit thing came up explaining what it was. And it said, the day of the rope is from the book that was found in Timothy McVeigh's car.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the fantasy of what's going to happen when the white nationalists rise up. So then she drives to his house and says, what the fuck, dude? And he says, okay, so I am a fascist.
Uh-huh.
And if we white people don't stick up for ourselves, we're going to get wiped out. And they're going to come for us and they're going to genocide us. And I'm not actually proposing that we do these violent things. I'm just joking about that. But I do think that, and what he actually said to her was, when I first heard these concepts, they were so shocking to me and viscerally almost off-putting to me that I almost turned away. But then I looked more deeply and I realized that they're actually getting at a deeper truth, which is that we white people are endangered and the Jews are the ones engineering the whole thing. And because they have this superior intelligence, they are kind of the puppet masters of this entire, and then he basically started showing her all these little sort of clues of like, do you notice how this is something they never mention in the media? They never talk about how the immigration laws were changed in 1965. Why did they do that? Why don't they want you to see that? Well, look who owns all these media companies and blah, blah, blah. And he started taking her down these paths. And she had the visceral reaction that you would have where she was like, no way, I'm out. I'm never seeing this guy again.
Yeah.
Left the house crying all the way home, got back to her place and just said, I just want to see one website that he was looking at just to see what it is. Because I don't want to be closed-minded. I want to just know what it is.
Sure.
Opens up the website. I've never read this fact about this thing. I've never seen this perspective on this thing. Goes from that to that to that to that to that. 5 days later, she calls him back and says, okay, I'm on your team.
Oh, wow.
Eventually, they called her the first lady of the alt-right. And she actually, like, will be mad at me when she hears this because she's a big fan of this show.
Oh, Jesus, don't say that.
No, but she's...
I hate that.
No. Well, because I didn't tell you that. And the reason that I'm still in touch with her is because she worked her way out.
Oh, okay, we're back. Okay.
No.
You almost caused a huge fight between us.
No.
two.
Not she started from the normie world of listening to this show. She was a big fan of Dan Savage. She used to drive to work listening to Dan Savage. And then she actually, because this is, I mean, the way that I got to tell her story was by just spending hundreds of hours just being like, what were you thinking then? What were you feeling then? And one of the things, and these aren't things that you would get to unless you got really deep, but she was like, you know, at one point I started going, why am I allowed to listen to like people talking about fisting or whatever, just crazy Dan Savage sex stuff, but I'm not allowed to listen to a show about how white people are okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, this is one of these things that is deeply, deeply wrong.
Yeah.
But from her specific perspective, where she had never been inoculated against certain ideas in the proper way, and she'd never read the kind of books that, whatever she needed emotionally or personally, it hit her. And because she was so in love with this guy and all this stuff, it hit her in a way that it made sense. To the point where they got her to be like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go down to Charlottesville, Virginia with some torches, but we're just there to just show that we don't hate anyone. We just want to stick up for ourselves because we have a right to exist. And she just was like, yeah, I guess that might be a good idea. She actually went to one demonstration in Charlottesville before. There was one before the big one. The second one, she was at work, so she didn't go. She saw the woman getting killed on TV, and then she was just like, okay, something in my life has gone horribly wrong.
It shattered her.
I need to get out. She called me.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Because through a series of connections, I was kind of known in that world. They didn't want to talk to me, but they knew who I was.
Right.
And she said, okay, I'm going to talk to someone who understands this world but is not in it.
Mm-hmm.
She was so confused and turned around that she would go, I know the Holocaust happened, but did it really happen though? Like, was it really 6 million? What if it was just like 1,000 or like 10,000 or? And I was like, no, it happened. And she was like, I know.
But
like,
really quick, what if it was 10,000?
Right.
What if a leader decided that people should be killed
right.
for their religious beliefs?
Well, that too.
And they only killed 10,000.
That too.
I guess I don't see the number as being as material.
They think it matters because the Jews have been using this. You'll notice that I am because I'm Jewish, I can ventriloquize that voice and feel like I am okay. But like their theory is the Jews have used this victim narrative to get whatever they want from society.
Oh, right.
So it has to be that big inflated number for them to get,
right.
You know, all this blah blah blah
sympathy.
Yeah. If you talk to this woman, she is funny. She's charming. You talk about bands with her all day long.
Yeah.
There just was just a big enough hole inside of her. But this one is actually, she got out. So like, this is a useful one. Not everybody in my book got out. And I still talk to her all the time. She's the only one of all the people that I spent all the time with in my book who I thank in my acknowledgments because she's the only one who I feel like I can have a relationship with.
Right.
Because she got out. The other people that I talk to, they are trying to give me a propaganda line and I have to step through it. And with her, it was a process, just like there's all these coupled things that need to be present for her to sink in. There were all these other factors that needed for her to come out. There was Charlottesville, her grandma died, and she had this complicated set of feelings about that. She actually rose up in the movement more quickly than he did.
Oh, and he probably resented her, yeah.
Well, a lot of you might not be surprised to learn that a lot of the people who build their identities around racism and anti-Semitism and misogyny rely on women to do a lot of the work in the movement for them.
Women have done all the work and all the things always.
So there were a lot of times when literally they were organizing their next Tiki Torch rally, and she was like, I'm going to make the spreadsheet because no one else is doing it.
Yeah. The guys are too busy fucking acting macho and alpha and doing nothing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And ranting on their Nazi podcast.
Yeah.
Well, and actually one of the ways she found me is because I wrote a piece about the kind of main podcast of that movement, which is called The Daily Shoah, which is a very hilarious pun because Shoah means Holocaust.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what a funny joke.
yeah, isn't that so
Jesus.
this is what I'm saying. But the thing is, and this is sort of dangerous territory, but like sometimes these guys are witty. The Daily Shoah, they had one show called Nationalist Public Radio. They had one called Fash the Nation. They're not idiots.
Right.
They had like one episode and they put out in September called White After Labor Day. I was like,
That's
pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
That is pretty funny.
But these are guys who this was the show she was listening to as she was getting indoctrinated, and it's not yelling. It's not hate this person, hate that person. It's being part of a group, having in-jokes, having all these acronyms and all these memes and all these. They call it shitposting. So what you do online on 4chan or on Reddit or whatever is you shitpost. You just whatever shit pops into your head. It's like a group chat. That's what they would act out, and they would be like, "You guys," and as you know, podcasting is a very intimate form. You feel like you're there. You feel like you're in the room. So she just started to feel like these are my dudes. Like I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm part of their joke. The first 10 episodes I listened to, I didn't know what they were talking about half the time. Now I'm part of their community. It's like Opie and Anthony for Nazis.
Right.
That's what they pattern it after. And so it's designed to inculcate you and indoctrinate you. That guy who made that show, he's the guy with the black brother and the Jewish wife. I found him because when Charlottesville happened, he had been anonymous. He had been podcasting under a pseudonym. He grew up in the most idyllic, liberal. His parents were professors. His dad taught Beowulf. They adopted this biracial kid. His sister was very accomplished in the sort of normie world. And he was addicted to this kind of, the way I can get a certain type of reinforcement or feedback, even if it's negative, is to be surgically able to demolish anyone's argument, even if it's the right argument. So he was the guy at Thanksgiving who'd be like, oh, well, you think you're so cool for being vegan, but let me actually tell you that there's more, soy is worse for the environment. That, like, he was that guy.
Sure.
About everything. And that led him to be a communist for a while.
Okay.
Because, like, you guys think you're so cool being bourgeois liberals, but you actually don't stand up for your principles, and you actually aren't redistributing wealth in the way that you claim to be. He was really into anti-war Afghanistan stuff. If you really care about the Afghan people, why are you supporting this Democratic Party that's right? So he's not wrong about that.
Right.
He just is too addicted to the thrill of demolishing people with those arguments.
Yeah.
Then the internet comes into his life. He's married to this Jewish woman, but they're kind of like recluses. They don't really go out that much. He spends all his time on the internet on these message boards, demolishing and destroying people.
Right.
Going into these message boards and going, here's why you're dumb if you believe in God. Here's why you're dumb if you, whatever. It doesn't even matter. It's like a video game.
Yeah.
He gets so good at this that he builds his identity around what can get the most traction of people. They call them rage quits. How can I collect the most rage quits where I piss people off so much that they have to leave the internet? And he gets addicted to that, kind of like collecting trophies like that.
Or getting blocked, probably.
Getting blocked, coming back with a new name. He and his buddies would all brigade into these rooms together and go, it's like liberal tears. We're going to create all these liberal tears by blah. So at that point, he's a Trotskyist. But then, because he has been accepted by the Trotskyists, he has to find a way to piss them off.
Sure.
So then he says, what's the books that you guys are the most afraid of? And those are like these libertarian tomes about how government shouldn't exist. So then he goes and reads those books. And then he becomes converted to libertarianism. And then he has to go piss off the libertarians. So then he goes,
oh my God.
So then
This is exhausting
Yes.
for him.
it's crazy. So then you get to a point where you go, the problem with libertarianism is that you pretend that all people are equal, but they're not. So if I really have freedom, I should be able to create a covenant of other people where we're all white and we don't let anyone else in. That's the short version of how you get from libertarian to white nationalist.
Right.
And it's not a random, again, I don't pick donkeys who are random examples. This happens to a lot of people. The libertarian to alt-right pipeline is what they call it.
Oh, wow.
So he goes to this place where he goes, I have taken the ultimate red pill. The one thing in our society that you're not allowed to say is white men are the real oppressed group. Jews are not actually white. They're the ones who are secretly controlling us. why do you think we're always going into all these costly foreign wars?
Mhm.
Because the Jews, that's what they talk about Zionist-occupied government. The Jews have decided that in Israel's interest, we're going to destabilize the Middle East so that Israel is the only democracy left standing. There's like many, many layers of this, and it's all a conspiracy theory, so I don't want to give it too much
Yeah,
credence.
yeah.
But it's all mapped out, is the point. It's not blind hatred.
Mhm.
It's very, very overthought hatred.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's systematic. It's like we have to spend hours and hours and hours explaining it to you because it's so deep. And when you are the kind of, all the conditions are in the right place for you to get led down that path, I can tell from talking to enough of these people, it is genuinely thrilling. It is a genuine process of intellectual discovery. That is wrong,
Yeah.
but that by their lights is exciting. Like there's this moment in Huck Finn where Huck Finn realizes Jim is actually a person, this slave that he's on a raft with.
Uh-huh.
And he has this epiphany that like, no matter what my society has told me, I have this moral intuition that this guy is a person and I'm going to build my life around defending that. They have the opposite experience. And either way you go, it's like a conversion moment.
Mhm.
So, but this woman, she is now piecing her life back together and going, I've essentially made the worst mistake I can make.
Mm-hmm.
And in a weird way, it's like, can she ever work her way out of that? Because remember, she wasn't at Charlottesville where somebody got hurt. She was at the other one.
Mm-hmm.
She never physically hurt anyone. I have people, my wife was a public defender for a long time. She defended people who really did hurt people.
Oh, sure.
Mhm.
And every time we would talk about them or bring them up with friends, her clients, everyone would go, well, I hope he's okay. I hope he works his way to rehabilitation. They would have nothing but kind things to say about someone who was trying to do their debt to society. And then I would bring up one of these people who had these bad ideas
Yeah.
and felt bad about it. And they'd be like, that person is just fuck them forever. They're
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
well, the
very
problem
weird-
is like, I'm
is.
not disputing the anger towards those people. I'm not disputing the disgust. I have it. It's all about what's the solution.
Mhm.
And I don't think further alienating, further demonizing, for all those things. I don't think that, unfortunately, is the solution.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like compassion's the solution, preventative stuff's the solution.
With the understanding that you don't have to ever soften your...
No, by the way, justice with compassion is
Yeah.
what I believe in. Like people who do shit need to pay the price for that, but that doesn't mean you can't make an effort to understand how it's started or what went out of hand, or
And in a way, the fact that I wasn't intending to go to the actual out-and-out white nationalist anti-Semites, but when I did, in a way, I found it easier because I'm Jewish to go, okay, there is no part of me that is worried about getting sucked into their worldview.
Right.
So I can actually look at it with more clarity. When I was talking to the pickup artist or the misogynist or whatever, I was like 99% sure that I wasn't going to be persuaded by any of it. But there's always a chance, like,
sure.
maybe there might be some... But once you're talking to a guy who wants you to be incinerated, you're like, I don't think this is going to be persuasive to me. Like,
Yeah.
So, and there were these moments where they would be talking to me, that guy, the Daily Show guy, we talked for hours and he was crying and we were getting into some really deep stuff. And then he was telling me about the book that changed his life, the book that told him about the JQ, which is what they call it, the Jewish question. This is the book that red pilled him on the JQ. And he told me, you really got to get it. It's going to blow your mind. And then he goes, wait, you're not a Jew, are you? It's like, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, maybe you should have like done your homework, done your research, or I'm not hiding it. I'm not,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you had red hair and like that threw me off. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
When I hear people using these terms, I literally think, oh, they must have honestly never met someone Jewish. They must not even know what they're, you know what I'm saying? It must be such a foreign thing to them that they could think this.
this guy, he grew up in New Jersey, totally Jews everywhere. He went to high school with Zach Braff.
Oh my
I just
God.
talked to him in a half
today.
hour
How
ago.
weird.
Bader Meinhof.
Did he, in that moment when he's in front of you and you're saying, yeah, is he visibly
Well, this was over
embarrassed?
the phone. He was audibly embarrassed. He was definitely
He
embarrassed.
was embarrassed.
We were supposed to go to a Shabbat dinner that I had canceled to spend my Friday night talking to a Nazi
Oh
on
my
the
God.
phone. And we did end up meeting up, and he wanted to meet at a German beer hall, which we did. And I went to meet him at a German beer hall, which was his way of trying to troll me and throw me off my game. And I was
Oh
like,
my God.
Yeah, man, I'll meet you at a German beer hall. That's fine. And that's, by the way, he lived in the Upper East Side of Manhattan at the time.
Oh, really?
Oh my.
It is never what you think.
Yeah, it is very shocking. You have a cartoon character, I do, of those people,
Yeah.
and that's not the case.
It's almost never, I mean, Stephen Miller's from Santa Monica. People are never, you
Yeah.
know, a lot of these guys, the people I've mentioned so far went to Bard, Pepperdine. It's just never,
yeah.
it's never what you think. And part of it is, I mean, some of them, they're not all whatever, the identical kind of intellectual profile, but the people who become leaders in this movement, the people who are good at picking apart news narratives and inserting themselves and hijacking it, it's a skill that they have to acquire, that they have to deduce how to do.
Yeah.
So I do think all this stuff is an argument for actually immersing yourself narratively in people's lives. I think the only way you can actually walk that fine line between excusing and engaging is to actually like go through the process of immersing yourself in that world and not try to get to the bottom line. Because the bottom line is these people are bad. The internet should probably be reorganized so it's not playing to our worst instincts. We should try to build more complex and robust systems so that we don't drive ourselves off a cliff. Like those are the answers that everybody I think would agree are the answers. The challenge is how do you get there?
Yeah.
And I just don't think you can get there unless you delve into the complexity of it a little bit.
Because, again, this will be unpopular too, but I am kind of a hardcore liberty person in that this place has got to be open for the very best ideas and the very worst ideas. And you can't just lop off the part you don't like. You got to take, it's a whole recipe that, and I want those good ideas. So unfortunately I have to, protect people's rights to have these terrible ideas.
Yes. And I think the thing where I often like go to push that a little bit is to say nobody reasonable wants to diminish free speech. The thing that I don't like is when we seem to suggest that what follows from that is because free speech is a value, therefore it can't be in tension with other values. So I can hold the value of free speech to be absolutely sacrosanct, but I also have to be realistic about the fact that it has externalities. It has other things that are concurrent with it that can be problems. So in the same way that I want to be able to have people have businesses and, have an economy that's not centrally planned. That doesn't mean that I don't look at that and go, oh, if you're polluting a river, you can't do that. Or if you have carbon emissions, that's not a problem. So sometimes we blind ourselves because we go, no, free speech, that's the end of the conversation. Free speech is the most and the least and the end. That's all we can say.
Yeah.
And like what I have started sort of pushing toward is like, okay, free speech and creating a society where we're not just completely like eating ourselves from the inside because of our allegiance to speech and the absence of all other values.
Well,
Yeah.
I was confronted with this on a personal level, which is the rights of journalists. So that umbrella shelters and protects paparazzi. And so when I had a kid and I started noticing, oh, these people are living in my front yard and they're like attacking kids on playgrounds, right? I at least quickly recognized, like, I'm not even going to enter into an argument that they don't have the right to do that. They do. They have a protected right. But you also have the protected right to shit on your dining room table. Right. There's no laws in America against shitting on your dining room table. Right. So you can have calls to action that don't involve legality, right? So mine was like, yes, you're right. They have a right to do that, as they have a right to shit on their dining room table. But I'm imploring people to recognize how these photos are procured, and maybe they don't want to participate in that.
And in the same way that if you have an economy that's built on getting clicks by sniping children's photos, that's a bad economy to build. In the same way that if you have deconstructed all of the things we've ever been able to use to distribute information or knowledge or news or whatever, and you've decoupled all of that and rebuilt it in a way that is engineered to be a slot machine for people's quickest and worst emotions.
Yeah, the reptilian midbrain.
And then you go, well, look, that's just what people want to click on and free speech.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Yes, people should have the freedom to pull a slot machine, but you're also engineering it so that they're stuck there and they're wearing diapers and they're losing their homes.
Yeah.
You've built a bad economy. So it doesn't mean that I want the government tanks to run in and seize your casino, but like we got to build something better.
Yeah.
That's largely how I feel about the internet. It's not, yay, everything's great. It's not drown it all in a river. It's how do we work our way out of the system we've built? In the same way that we need to rebuild our cities, we need to rebuild our food chains, we need to rebuild our economy so it doesn't fuck up the climate.
Has it progressed? Have we seen the nadir of this, or is it continuing to get worse? Or you tell me, where are we at in the history of it?
Yeah, it's kind of both.
It's kind of both.
Well, in the sense that, the kind of like generals are always fighting the last war. The loopholes from 4 years ago are largely being closed. You can't buy an ad in an American election with rubles,
Right.
which you could do in 2016.
Right.
So it would be crazy if they didn't close that loophole, and they did.
Yeah.
But the bigger vulnerability of
Rubles.
literally.
I know. It sounds so silly,
I
though.
know.
But
it
like,
does.
to your point of sympathy, it's like you didn't know that was going to be a loophole until you saw someone exploiting it. Now,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
quickly do you act when that's brought to your attention? And all those are all questions. But
Mhm.
okay, so you close that loophole, but are you still premising all of human information and sharing and dissemination around what is going to immediately viscerally excite people? Yes, we are still doing that.
Yeah.
So the larger vulnerability hasn't been closed.
You know what? If I could use an analogy, I think we're in the 70s right now with the advent of all this fun food that turned out to not be food.
Yeah.
And right now we're just like, fucking, hey, this shit's tasty.
I can have
Pop-Tarts,
dinner in 5 minutes.
pop
Yeah.
this in here. Yeah, microwave this, right? Well, I think we were in the exciting, like, immediate response reward of it all. And I hope to think that we will be correcting like we did with our food in some capacity.
And there's also an element of like how capitalism works, where you have to reckon with the idea that once you are craft and you have shareholders that you feel some fiduciary responsibility to,
Mhm.
you're going to probably try to bury the food science that is trying to tank your stock price.
Yes.
That's just kind of the system we've built in terms of corporate capitalism.
Yes.
And so now everything seems to be justified by, well, I just have a responsibility to the shareholders.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, but don't you also have a responsibility to like make sure you don't touch off any more genocides or those are also responsibilities. And it sounds very sort of squishy and, whatever, but it's like, yes, you do have responsibilities other than one responsibility.
Yes.
And I think this is something that people who work in the Fourth Estate are sort of comfortable with because the businesses are businesses, but they're also like mission-driven businesses. Now, it doesn't mean they're perfect and they make mistakes all the time and whatever, but you couldn't, in my world, make the argument of like, well, this is just good for the business, so I'm just going to make shit up or I'm just going to...
Right.
It doesn't work. There's a dual kind of bottom line.
Yes.
And that's what you're striving for. You don't always achieve it. But the reason that I am motivated to do what I do and work hard at it is that I feel like people are trying hard to achieve something other than I'm going to make a buck for someone somewhere else. That is a hard thing to sustain. And in fact, it won't be sustainable for very long. And journalism is really, really endangered right now for that reason.
Yeah.
But you have to figure out how to do that if you want to like look yourself in the mirror,
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, I am super impressed that you've dedicated the amount of time that you have to attempting to understand this stuff because, again, I think lobbying insults from afar isn't necessarily going to yield any forward movement. Your book, Antisocial, or antisocial? What would you guys say?
What do you prefer?
We'll find out in the fact.
Okay. Antisocial, online extremists, techno-utopians, and the hijacking of the American conversation. I implore everyone to check this book out. I can imagine that it would only help us as we navigate this thing we spend increasingly more and more time on. So I'm really glad there's people like you. I'm grateful that there's publications like The New Yorker where, you're supported in that. And these things are so valuable and worth protecting. And I think you're on the right side of everything. So thank you so much, Andrew, for coming in and talking to us.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And now my favorite part of the show, the fact check with my soulmate, Monica Padman.
Go ahead, baby boy. Baby boy. Did you like that part when she sings Baby Boy? La da 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 da. Baby boy.
I did like it. It's one very, very, very tiny part out of that song.
And I've made the whole song about it. I even thought the name of the song was Baby Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're speaking about Alicia Keys still.
We'll probably still be talking about her in months ahead.
Dax was trying to look for her song Baby Boy.
Right.
And did a bunch of Googling, couldn't find anything. But turns out it is a small lyric in Diary.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right.
And you love it. You just want to keep singing it over
and
over.
I was wondering why it wasn't having the same impact on you as it was me. And I was thinking maybe all of us guys desire to have a girl call them baby boy.
Do they?
I think maybe.
Wait, really?
I think that might be part of it. Like, especially the way she says it, like, baby boy. Like, we want to be called that.
Wait. This is worth delving into.
Okay. Sorry, Andrew.
Sorry, Andrew. We'll get there.
We'll
Don't worry.
come back to you.
We'll come back. But this is important because you want to be taken care of. Men
Yeah, maybe
want
it's
to
like
be
a
taken
mother's
care of.
love, maybe.
Yeah.
Sounds like a mother's love.
They want to be nurtured, even though they also want to be.
We're like, get away from us. We want to shoot guns and take over something.
But they're just baby boys.
That's right.
At-
Like, is there a pet name or something that you would, like if you were watching a Matt Damon movie and he
Yeah.
was being intimate with some co-star
Oh.
and he called her like a cute name, could you imagine yourself going like, oh, I want him to call me that?
Yeah, of course.
What would it be? Snickerdoodle? Sex chinchilla?
No. We're done if he calls me a sex chinchilla.
La da 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 sex chinchilla. I'll keep your secret.
Ew. Don't bastardize her
I know.
song.
I don't even think that's those words are in the song, but I don't think they're.
None of these words are important to that song. I think it's just that you like to be nurtured.
Yeah, that's probably right. I have a very nurturing mom
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wife.
and wife.
And I would like Matt to call me.
Baby boy?
Yeah. I wanted to call me baby boy. But okay, ironically.
Baby girl? Baby girl sounds a little
Baby girl sounds a
dismissive.
little pervy.
Sounds pervy and like a power play.
Like, I'm above you.
A power move.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I wouldn't like that.
Baby woman?
Ew. Ironically, I have the same thing. Like, I would want it to be a nurturing, not a baby name,
Okay.
but like sweetheart or something like that.
Baby bug.
Where baby bug. That's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, right? Baby bug.
I don't want to be called. Well, I was about to say I don't want to be called baby, but I do think I do like that.
Of course.
I think I would like that.
Yeah. Yeah, baby bug.
Because
Baby bug. Baby bug.
people
let me
like
rock you.
being nurtured.
They do. We all like being nurtured.
And we like feeling safe.
But then we're also selfish little pieces of shit. So as soon as we've been nurtured enough, we're like, get away from me, mom.
Yeah. Leave me alone, mom.
Yeah, we're all pieces of shit, aren't we? We want like max nurturing on our time when we're in the mood.
I know.
And then the second we're not, we're like, get out of my space.
Yeah.
I'm that way.
Yeah.
And then I'm mad at the other person because they're not navigating perfectly, like when I'm needy and when I need autonomy.
It's up to you to tell people what you need.
Yeah, yeah.
Only-
And there's no rhyme or reason to it either.
Yeah.
I'm like hot and cold.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
all are.
Yeah.
But it is confusing for everyone if you're changing, not you, I mean, in general, when people change the rules up on other people,
Mhm.
it's not fair to the other person unless you're communicating.
Another reason we just need emotion hats. Like you got 5-6 hats.
Yeah.
You pop it on. It's like, I'm feeling needy. I'm going to pop this on.
Oh.
Clear signal, visual.
Uh huh.
Even if it's in a loud environment, someone can see the hat from across the room. I'm going to go nurture my baby bug.
Oh.
And then another hat's like red, and it's like, says rock out with your cock out on it or something really aggressive. And that's like, I'm autonomous right now. I want to feel like
Okay,
a big
I
grown
like this.
man.
But, you know, it's a bit of a cop out because you could just use your words.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Part of it is I think sometimes we don't know. We personally don't know what we need at the exact moment, or we can't, sort out our emotions. Maybe we think we want autonomy, but really we are feeling needy.
Yeah. Or it's like we want to feel safe. And then the second we feel safe, then we feel free to go play and gallivant and not need it.
Yeah.
Baby bird. What if someone called you baby bird? Too weak and defenseless.
So I like baby on its own,
Yeah.
but I don't like baby another word,
Okay.
linking it to animal or
Baby kangaroo.
I think Matt could probably say any of these things
Yeah.
to me and I'd be happy. Feel good.
Baby squirrel.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
Squirrel's kind of cute.
Yeah, it is.
What did your mom call you?
Daxer.
Yeah, she still calls you
Yeah.
that.
And then she had a song and she'd say, my Daxer, my big, strong Daxer.
Baby boy.
So she was smart enough. She knew to like be calling me a little baby, but then also saying my great big Daxer.
Oh, wow.
She knew how to play me like a fiddle.
What if when you were just singing this song right now, baby boy was in the
Oh, and then we discovered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd go, my Daxer, my great big Daxer. Yeah, she was really smart. She made me feel great big, but I was
still a baby.
I was being
You were
a little
her
miniature
Daxer.
baby, and melting into her arms.
Oh. And did she have a song for your brother and your sister?
I know that she calls my sister a baby rabbit.
She does.
Yeah, which is so sweet. And my mom her totem animal is a rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In fact, her neighbor, she just sent me a picture this morning. Her neighbor put a welcome gift because she moved into a new neighborhood, put a welcome gift on her porch, and it was a baby rabbit figurine.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, she felt like it was a sign from the universe.
Oh, she felt like it was a sign from Bart.
Well, no, that would have been a silver dollar. She thinks she finds silver dollars everywhere and that
Because
he's
of Bart.
leaving them because he was really into silver dollars. And she's got some pretty outrageous claims, and she's got photographic evidence. I don't know. You know, it's funny because my mom and I have different. That's where we diverge.
Okay.
She believes in some supernatural stuff that I don't.
Okay.
But I trust her so much.
Yeah.
And so she's had a couple different ghost experiences with her father. And I take them at face value. Like, I think she had those experiences. I don't believe in that, but I also believe she had those experiences.
Yeah.
So apparently she's finding silver dollars every couple minutes since Barton died.
That's so sweet. And it really isn't even worth trying to figure out whether.
Yeah, what would be the win in me proving to her that's not happening?
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm tempted.
Don't do
I'm really
it.
tempted. Well, because she'll
Don't
go
take
like,
that from her.
she says like, well, this happened on the cruise that she took my niece on. They looked in the change purse because it was happening. They both agreed how many silver dollars are in this change purse, and there was like 3 or 4. And then they got back to their room after a day at shore, and there was one on the ground. And then they looked in the change purse, and there was like 5 or 6, and then they took a picture of it.
Wow.
So I go straight to, ooh, we have a fun mystery. What I know is that Barton didn't come out of the clouds and put the money in there.
No.
So I either have to accept that she's lying full stop.
Okay.
Or I've got to explain this. Where do these silver dollars come from? And then I get really excited about trying to figure out a plausible explanation for this other than Barton descended the heaven. But I got to be careful that I'm not doing that out loud.
Agreed. You should let her have that and believe what she wants to believe.
Do you remember in Men in Black, whenever they would show up and they'd go, there was a leak of methane gas cloud from a local swamp and it was ignited by a flash bolt of light. Like they would make up this crazy thing that happened to explain how, the alien they just saw.
Oh,
I liked that.
that's funny.
Great movie. I could watch that again in
I haven't
solitude.
seen it in so many years that I don't remember anything about it. Like
One
I
of,
was
the
little.
first one is a masterpiece.
We could do a Will Smith marathon.
I'd fucking love it.
Did your dad call you any pet names?
You called me Daxter too.
Oh, he did?
And Grunt.
Uh-huh.
You know about Grunt because I
Yeah.
was deaf. Didn't bother me though.
No.
I didn't feel like they were making fun of
That
me.
seems sweet.
Yeah. Also, you know, as a superhero most of the time, I was Super Dax. And I would show up and I would rescue her from all kinds of
Oh,
situations.
boy.
And she would
just-
she would play a
It's
role.
just so there. It's just
yeah.
all so transparent.
right from the jump. Yeah. No evolution
You're
really. I'd like to
saving
think,
everyone from age 5.
uh-huh. Yeah, I would rescue her all the time and I had a cape and everything. You know, the whole 9.
Yeah. Okay, Andrew. Andrew Marantz. Did Joan Didion say writers are always selling someone out? Yes. She did say that in the preface of her book, Slouching Towards Bethlehem.
What if you go, she did say that and she regretted it.
He said Reddit gets more traffic than Twitter or Amazon or Netflix. So he then emailed me
Can
after.
I just say I don't believe that? But go ahead.
Okay. He emailed me after. He said, I think I said that Reddit gets more traffic than Amazon or Twitter. That was true when I wrote the book, but might not be true anymore, given how fast these things change. And that's U.S. traffic, not world traffic.
Okay.
Okay. So I have not distinguished world versus U.S. because I read this after I did my research.
It's consistent too. Like when we argue about movies, it's always about world versus domestic.
This is true.
Yeah.
It's always the big question. But according to my research, Twitter has 330 million active monthly users. And that sounds right from the last one I did with Adam Mosseri. And Reddit has 430 million active monthly users. So that is more than Twitter.
Yep. I believe the Twitter claim.
Yeah, Amazon is
I
the
don't
one.
believe the Amazon
Okay,
claim.
yes. So on Wikipedia's list of most popular websites, Amazon is above Reddit.
Okay.
Yeah, I also was shocked by that. But he knew. He
I'm
was
on
top of
Amazon
it.
every 6 seconds.
Oh my God, I know.
I mean, honestly.
And Netflix, but I guess Netflix, I didn't see Netflix on the list above Reddit. So
And Netflix would have to be done in a different way because certainly they don't have over 300 million subscribers. That'd be all of America.
Right.
But if you added up in the attention economy, how many hours people spend
For
on
sure.
Netflix versus Reddit, I that to me would be a toss up.
yeah, that's true. Okay, does John Oliver say business daddy? Yes. He takes a jab at HBO parent AT&T over terrible service. I got you, business daddy.
Yeah, it's really funny.
He said that the podcast, The Daily Show, was like Opie and Anthony for Nazis, but I didn't know what Opie and Anthony was. Did you?
Yeah, Opie and Anthony is a very, very popular radio show for decades.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I mostly know about these people here listening to Howard. Because Howard's, of course, aware of all of his peers / competition. And then so he'll talk about. So it's all of my opinions of all these people are pretty skewed by him.
Through
But I
Howard's
have done
lens.
the Opie and Anthony show.
Oh, you've been on it?
Yes, in New York.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it. Okay, is it antisocial or antisocial? According to the general pronunciation online, when you type in how to pronounce and that thing comes up, it's anti-social.
Antisocial.
Yeah.
Oh, like my Aunt Social.
But I would have said anti.
He's super antisocial, I would say. But I would say that's pretty antisocial if I was describing someone's behavior.
Oh. You asked me the other day if I was feeling
Antisocial?
Yeah.
I would have asked you if you were feeling antisocial.
Yeah, that's what you asked.
But I would have said you were acting a bit antisocial.
Oh my God.
Like Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Yeah. Caribbean Queen.
That's all.
That's all?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I love you.
Love you, baby boy.
Baby bird.